Hey everybody, this is Minion Soldier and this is the Piracy Show. Now you may be looking at this footage and thinking, oh crap, here we go again, but no. No, today is a happy day. Today is happy news. Now, it's not quite here yet, but it's coming a lot sooner than you think. What is it, you may ask? Well, there's something in the patch notes for the PTU version of 3.1.2b. Well, let me show you. Now, you might be thinking, patch notes, boring. I know, but check out feature updates. So, within the feature updates, general, players should now respawn in their ship or best available location following a disconnect or client crash. Now, when a player logs out in their ship bed, or the client crashes, the next time you connect, the game will attempt to log you back in at your most recent ship and location. Your ship will despawn after 10 minutes has elapsed, if the ship is empty. If the player attempts to reconnect after this timeout, the player should respawn back in the ship in the best bed/seat available the next time the player connects, assuming the ship has not been destroyed. Now, what this means and why I'm using this footage is because, this was the footage I used yesterday where I was going back to find the rec site, the freelancer rec site, and I apologize for the stutters, but, you know, it's alpha. What happened at the end is I did end up finding the rec site, right? So I got back there, I got to that location, and then the game disconnected. I got error 30,000 and I was disconnected from the game. I get the little thing that says bad token, and you know, you're sitting there going, oh great, now I have to wait for my ship to respawn at Olisar and come all the way back. Now, with this being implemented in 3.1.2, notice not 3.2, 3.1.2. So this is a little patch that we're going to be getting hopefully in the near future. We should be able to now spawn at our ships at a location. So even with this crash, I will still come back to the game with my ship still parked at that same spot, able to continue what I was doing before. That's kind of a big deal. Like, that kind of adds to the livability of this universe, because no longer is it like, oh well, now I'm back to zero. All that stuff that I collected is all gone now. Your ship comes back, and you know, with this, like, presumably with all the stuff that you had on your ship. So if you go to a rec site and you start picking up, you know, whatever resources, items, components, whatever you may find now or in the future, when you come back to the game, all that stuff, including your ship and you, are going to be where you left them. That's, you know, that's really a big deal, because one of the biggest problems with the alpha right now is the sense of like that there's no continuity in the game. As soon as you crash, oh crap, now I'm back at Olisar, now I'm back at Grim Hex. Now you can just, like, let's say you go to a specific location, like here where I'm going to the rec site. I can now just say, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to continue this tomorrow. So now I can just log my ship out there, and I will be there when I log back in. I can just go to the bed and actually use the bed, and like I no longer have to make the round trip from Olisar every time I want to create a video. And that's awesome. That kind of, you know, it kind of brings the universe to life a little bit. It sounds like such a minor thing, but when you really think about the day in and day out of playing Star Citizen, having this feature implemented is really a big deal. One of the biggest problems that a lot of players face right now in Star Citizen is the random disconnects just totally knock you down. So let's say I go over to ArcCorp and I buy a whole bunch of minerals and I start flying up into space, and I'm going to take them to sell them to make money, and then the game disconnects. That can wipe out everything that you have on your ship. That can wipe you out financially in one shot. But using this, you log back on, boom, there you are in your ship in space with your cargo intact, and you can just carry on. With the differences that we've seen in the pricing of trade goods and how that kind of impacts your ability to make money, certainly to go out and buy all the cool shit and test out different things, or just, you know, have fun in the game, there was always that ever-present specter that was like, at any second all of this could get wiped out, and then you have to start from scratch, or worse, well, actually, it would be, you would start from scratch and you'd have to go do a mission to get some money, and then start trading to actually kind of turn that over a few times and make some real money. But now you can actually turn around and say, hey, you know what, I'm just going to log back in and keep doing what I was doing. A lot of people have shied away from playing in the PU for exactly that reason, because they're kind of like, hey, I don't want to do this because every time it crashes, anything that I was trying to accomplish is ultimately wiped out. Call me when the game is more stable. But at least this feature kind of, you know, it kind of protects you to a certain extent, and it gives you that kind of security and knowledge that when I get back into the game now, my shit's still going to be there, even if I have a crash or some kind of stability issue. And I know what you're saying, you know, stability issues in Star Citizen. When has that ever happened? But it is, you know, it's a big ever-present problem and a big specter on the horizon for a lot of people who are playing the game. And now, with the possibility of just wiping that out, we can actually go and do things now and not worry about, oh well, there goes that, maybe next time. If you want to go and find the Javelin on Daymar and you've tried multiple times but the game keeps crashing out on you, you can just go to Daymar, park somewhere nearby, and slowly whittle that location down if you haven't found it yet. I mean, certainly in the early days of 3.0, I knew everyone was going to the wrecked Javelin and I never went there. And I was sitting there, oh, well, everyone's doing it, you know, I don't need to make the umpteenth video on finding the Javelin on Daymar. But the truth is, I went down there maybe about 4 or 5 times trying to find it, and the game crashed on me every single time, and I just said, I've had it with this thing. I don't give a shit about this Javelin anymore. But now I can actually go and actually take the time to really explore it, and maybe, who knows, park a couple of bikes on my Caterpillar and not have to worry about, oh, if I go to all the work of parking a couple of Dragonflies on my Caterpillar and trying to test that out. I don't have to worry about game crashes. It's all reset to 0 and I gotta wait 30 minutes for my Caterpillar to respawn, which is bullshit, by the way. I mean, you're supposed to be testing the game. Why are we waiting even a half an hour or an hour for these things to respawn? It should be instant. You know, we're not at that phase where the game is stable enough to justify a wait time. Now, I know recently, you know, we've talked about some of the negative things, and we've really dug into that, but I think that this is really a positive move. It seems like such a little thing, but it really is a big thing, and it, you know, it's something to kind of draw more people in and test the game. And I know that there's probably a bunch of people who are going to say, oh God, don't, we don't need more people on the PTU or the PU messing it up and slowing it down and making it even harder. But the more people we get on playing, the more realistic the facts and figures on how much the population taxes the servers are, and the better result we're going to get in the end. Because a lot of game companies, you know, they kind of tend to lowball when it comes to servers, and they kind of try to take it easy, even on games that are, you know, supposedly finished. Sometimes the servers are pretty bad, and you know, no game in particular, The Division. And so I'm thinking that, you know, having more people on the servers, stressing them out, taxing them, is going to give CIG a better idea of realistically what kind of hardware they should be running to provide the best experience for us, the players. I mean, I'm all for the company, you know, certainly, you know, trying to run things efficiently, but you know, I don't want that their facts and figures to be based on the fact that, you know, the numbers that they had for the amount of people who were playing the PU were artificially depressed because a lot of people were saying the game isn't stable enough to really enjoy, or even though it is kind of unstable, every time there's an error, I get wiped out, so what's the point in trying? So now you'll have a chance to go and explore these Rexon planets and just chill and maybe just park your ship at a picturesque location and just like kind of going on a camping trip. You know, just check things out and take vehicles out and go on multiple hour cruises in your ground vehicles and stuff like that, for if you happen to have the ships that can carry those things around. It really is a good thing. It really is a big deal from such a small feature, and I'm surprised that it didn't make the cut for 3.1, but maybe it's just because they weren't ready to put it in yet. They were kind of closing things up and saying what's ready to go with 3.1. This was something that they were hoping to get, and maybe they didn't get it in. But now they're like, oh, you know what? We are so close. We're just going to put it in one of these little mini patches that follows up 3.1. And sure enough, here it is. I mean, that could possibly be the reason why we didn't see it earlier. But having this here now is, I think, just an amazing thing. And it's going to make my life 100 times easier now that this is here. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Anyways, yeah, a positive video and a hopeful video. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching. So if you want to keep up with the latest and greatest in Star Citizen and Squadron 42's development, please follow us on our social media channels. See you soon.